So you're supposed to be happy this is your last day, Cheryl. Major, Miss Krill's here.
Oh, good.
No, Jack said I would never cry.
Gotcha.
Got you.
We ran into you in the parking lot.
I couldn't figure out why in the world he had to drive. Why couldn't he come with us? They just tried to pull some real
How you
good.
doing, ma'am?
Can I take this off?
Yes.
You can't use so tough. Yeah, I'm gonna have to deal with Johnny.
You changed it to theater entries. All the models down there. The D2 and the D1.
We don't have to go outside anymore?
No,
What do you crap for that
And Joey coming, she said,
These don't have to be pretty.
oh no, she said today's the day. And I said, he's the one that you gotta guide him through. Here you go.
Mine did that 2 nights in a row.
We got them to change their schedule to meet with me first.
You did that 2 nights in a row, and now I'm doing this
Still
stuff for
Sunday
you.
afternoon. Yeah, I don't want to stay longer.
Most chairs I've got in the office.
Okay.
It's going to be a while. I'll stand. Nina. I'll fill you in on what's going to happen. I wasn't trying to be rude when I was talking out there. I was just trying
Is there going to be another room up here? I just happened to think now that
That was ours. I think they got a misimpression.
All in here anxiously awaiting the arrival of Joe and the General.
Good morning, please take your seats. For 41 years, and if you count the 3 years that she was out, gosh, you're talking 44 years, that's almost half a century. Ooh, that's a big lot. I shouldn't say that. There you are. Got a shadow right over your head. And her daughter, Sarah Widener, and son-in-law Dan Widener. And we've got 2 grandsons. We've got Danny, who's 9, and Jesse, who's 4. Is that right? Did I get all those years right? And a beautiful head of blonde hair. And let's see, who else have we got here that you'd like to introduce?
I have my niece Judy, Virginia, Marilyn, and my sisters Juanita, Virginia.
So happy to have you all with us. Welcome. Now listen, indeed is a wonderful, wonderful morning. Joe's living in Tucson, and he's worked in Colorado Springs and worked here in the civilian personnel office. And she was telling me a story in the office here a few minutes ago when Cheryl May wanted to play tennis. Somebody made a call, and they were always calling the wrong Creole. Said, hey, we need to line up a tennis partner, and she almost accepted it. He finally decided he really wanted to play tennis with Joe. The folks in the SCCC and the operations director have prepared a rather extensive historical analysis of Joe Creel's career. And if you'll permit me, I'm not going to read it, but I have read it a couple of times, and there are some very, very interesting tidbits in here that I thought I'd like to share with you, because it's just too good to not share. Of course, Joe is the chief of the Winnick Support Section, and that's F-Troop, which is its popular name, the Force Control Programming Branch. And of course, she runs and maintains all of those wonderful Air Force standard and MAGCOM unique activities and applications on our BPSA Honeywell computer. We have been doing that for quite some time. Started U.S. government civil service in 1945. And interestingly enough, got into this business kind of by accident. She thought she was going to be some kind of a machine operator, and they wound up giving her a clerical admin test instead. and wound up being a tabulator. And of course, those of us who work with punch cards kind of know what tabulating machines do. And the rest is history, a lot of history. Hired on as a CAF2 level, and her annual salary when she started was $1,704. And it probably went further then than what we're making now, interestingly enough. Started working for the U.S. Army 7th Services Command, which was headquartered downtown in Omaha at 16th and Farnham. And let's think about December 1945. That's what's really interesting about this. The first item they put down here was that General Weber would celebrate his 4th birthday in another month. How about that? But more importantly, Larry Sipos was 3 months old at that time. Hi, little Larry. He was not a pretty sight at 3 months old. You wouldn't know what a word for that guy.
That's not what my mom said.
However common, none of the 45 current military members of F Troop would be born for another 2.5 years when she started working. I think this is wonderful. I don't know if you're thinking it's wonderful. I think it's great. And then she moved to Hyde Park, Illinois, along with the 7th Services Command, and took a train out there to do that. And they were headquartered in the Edgewater Beach Hotel, and I suppose you probably got some good stories of working in the Edgewater Beach Hotel. Then took a 3-year break in service and wound up back in Offutt in 1956 as a DS-3 machine operator working in the 3902nd Air Base Wing. And that was our host wing for many, many years. Very wonderful organization. Worked on IBM equipment. Now let's think about 1956. General Curtis LeMay was just concluding his tour as our first Commander-in-Chief of Strategic Air Command. SAC was celebrating its 10th birthday. 1956. Our first operational B-52 was celebrating its first birthday. We had 36 bases in the continental United States in SAC, 19 overseas bases, and we owned 3,200 aircraft at that time. Big demand. Kind of our heyday. And it says Building 500 was under construction. Now that's, 500 was under construction. At that point, Building D would have been about 15 years old, something like that. And I was in high school. No, Larry Sipos was celebrating his 11th. And the current F Troop commander, Mrs. Creel Supervisors, was successfully potty trained that year. And her NCOIC would turn 1 year old. And he wasn't potty trained. That was not in here, I just added it. And then Offutt was selected to be the very first base to test a new base-level computer, the UNIVAC 1004. And you had the enviable duty of every 2 weeks loading 5 or 6 wiring panels under your arm and trucking off to Whitpain, Pennsylvania, where they would be tested, and then she'd take the courier back. Was that the KC-97 East Coast courier that you flew on? I did that many times. I remember that very well. How about that? Those were heavy, too.
Oh, yes.
Did you learn how to wire panels?
Yes, sir.
Good for you. 407 to do the accounting machine? That was complex stuff. Continued to work base level support for 18 years. It says here the 1004 was replaced with a Burroughs 263. Now somewhere there's something missing here. Did you ever work on the NCR 315 before the 263?
That was up to the south.
Yeah. Yep. And then that gave way to the 3500 series. And you certainly witnessed all the change in the Sperry and the UNIVAC and the Unisys evolution. Lived that history firsthand. And then in 1965, you were one of 2 civilians working in the data collection branch of Data Systems and Statistics Division. And that was under the comptroller at that time, as I recall. From a 1965 Air Pulse article, this is a mind blower. Offutt Air Force Base, the comptroller was spending over $29,000 a month for data processing machines, supplies, and personnel. Larry Sipos spends over that every second. 1 million T-punch cards were used. And in 67, they recognized your management skills and made you chief of the programming section. 6 Air Force programmers, including 1 WAF. How many folks remember what a WAF was? Well, you really date yourself. Blake Stiff knows what a WAF was. Now for 1967. General John D. Ryan was the SINCSAC. I remember him. We had 32 Qantas bases, only 3 overseas. We were down to 1,327 aircraft, so we were going through one of our lines. We retired the last B-47. First year SAC staged the Olympic Arena. It says here I was assigned over in Building D. More importantly, I got married that year. Think of it. And Colonel Sipos completed his bachelor's degree at Drake University and was not yet in the Air Force. But he's coming on strong. And the editorial note, he was potty trained by that time. His senior year in high school. In 1974, you came to work for headquarters SAC AD, and it would have been about 2 years old at this point, I guess. It was formed in 72. Worked in the accounting and finance, the civil engineering section. All work order accounting and those kinds of applications, I presume. And in 1979, here's an honor, with just under 30 years of service, she was named Office Woman of the Year. Fantastic. And at that time, was responsible for production of thousands of computer extracts necessary to manage all of our financial and engineering data. Which made this base what it has become over the years. In 1979, now we're getting a little bit closer. General Ellis was Commander-in-Chief. SAC was a lot smaller, down to 119,000 people. Of course, that's still over a fourth of the Air Force. And for the first time, less than 1,000 aircraft, down to 25 bases in the States. Once again, I was back at SAC, Offutt, Building D. I was a real Building D dweller for about 12 years. Colonel Sipos was at Langley. And F Troop was celebrating its 7th anniversary of using Linux hardware. It no longer had a full colonel commander, but still at the division level. And now today, 43 years of service. General Butler is the 13th and the last SINCSAC. I hope nobody's superstitious. Down to 21 Qantas bases, 5 more scheduled for closure, and 0 overseas. And aircraft total in SAC is 970 today. More importantly, none are on alert. Isn't that incredible? F Troop is a branch. When the world marches on, and you've done your Air Force and SAC and our country a very, very proud honor. Great job. That's a lot of history here. It really is. Very interesting. To think about the evolution of our technology, and that which most of us are involved in terms of information systems technology, and how it's grown from very rudimentary machines, and you were involved in that right absolutely at the very forerunner, the very first part of information technology in the States. It wasn't very many years before that whoever it was invented the abacus. No. Not really true. No, but in terms of touch card technology and then using digital computers and the very first applications in the Air Force, in fact, we're in SAC. You've experienced all of that and in fact have been a leader and helped us grow to where we are today in a modern world of very complex and very valuable computing affecting every one of our lives, every function within the SAC. So we're proud of it. With that, we have an award. Sure, let's get over here in front of the flag and we'll get a picture. Along with that is this certificate. This is the Air Force Outstanding Civilian Career Service Award. It's a very nice award. And it's awarded to you under the authority of our Commander-in-Chief, General Lee Butler. And if you'll permit, hold that in your left hand, allow me to, as Rachel will tell you, you've got a very pretty corsage on the left, so we'll put this on the right. You can put any pins in there. Let me give you a shake. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Well done. And this is the official document. And just to show you, it really is a document. Department of the Air Force Certificate of Service, Josephine Creel, in recognition of 41 years of faithful and devoted federal service on the occasion of retirement from civilian employment. George Lee Butler, General United States Air Force Commander-in-Chief, Strategic Air Command. Congratulations. And now we got one from the big guy. This is the icing on the cake. White House Stationery, Washington, D.C., October 31st, 1991. Dear Mrs. Creel, congratulations on your retirement from the Department of the Air Force after 46 years of service. He can add. The rest of the guys. Our nation is deeply indebted to the men and women who devote their lives to public service. On behalf of all Americans, thank you for a job well done. Barbara joins me in sending our very best wishes for every future happiness. Sincerely, George Bush. Isn't that great? And George asked me to give you a kiss, too. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
Many happy years and a great future to you. And the floor is yours. I bet you've got something you'd like to tell the
I've been talking for 42 years. But I do want to thank all of you for coming, and there isn't a time that I wouldn't change being here. This job took care of my family, and for that I am deeply grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we'll try it this way. Okay.
You notice all the sisters are short, don't you?
Look right this way, nice smile. Yeah.
Just
Congratulations, we'll see you at the lunch. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good on this, your elbows in the hole.
Really? Yeah, you no.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna come back tomorrow and see who's got my teeth.
Congratulations, Josephine. I don't know you very well, but I look forward to
They gave me a
Congratulations, Crow, and enjoy your retirement. No, I haven't heard from anybody.
Are you bored? I'll be back.
Let me speak through it.
You're next? I went through one. I went through one. All right. Yes.
You're right.
Oh, all right.
Well, they met this morning. They had to get back inside and they went to leave.
I'm so glad you could come.
I'm not feeling
I'm glad. I'll be over when I get bored. That's right. Leave the TV on. That's the one I say. Yeah, I won't miss you, Dave. You know that. Julie? I don't even watch it. I'll watch it. I'll be back.
It's not too late. Thanks, Mike.
I can tell him I'll be in to see who's got my children. You thank you. Thank you. Long time. All right. I gotta go back to the office. We go down to the office now?
If you'd like to carry it? No, I think you can. Okay, let's give that to her.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, we just picked that.
Well, there it is, but I don't need it. I'd like to say welcome to everybody. Thank you for coming. We're here for one purpose and one purpose only today, and that is to pay honor to a very, very special lady, Jo Creel. We're very happy that everybody could make it. I've been here at SAC over a year and a half, and this is the largest farewell I've ever seen, and I'm pretty sure this is probably one of the largest that F Troop has ever seen. For those of you that are kind of new, F Troop refers to the Force Control Programming Branch, of which I'm the branch chief, has a long and glorious history, and we're all quite proud of F Troop, and we're all kind of sad to see we're losing one of our stronger and better members today, Section Chief Jo Creel. To say that everybody here is kind of an understatement to say how important this is to us, losing Jo. Look at this head table. The only person I don't have to call sir is Jo. The Colonel. So a lot of people are willing.
You do have to call her man.
Yes, I do call her man. She's really the boss. I'd also like to make mention, what we've got here is we've got my boss, the division commander, our chief, Colonel Curran, and then we've got his two bosses, Deputy SO, Colonel Lowry, and then Colonel Stiff, the head of strategic operations. And Colonel Cyclos wanted to be here today, but the last minute yesterday, General Weber called a meeting, and that's where Colonel Cyclos is today, but he also wanted to be here. So a lot of colonels and sitting up here at this table today in honor of Jo. Also today we have some very, very special guests, and that's Jo's families here. We've got Jo's daughter, Sarah, and her husband, Dan, Jo's two grandsons, Danny and Jesse. Then we've got Jo's son, and this is really a special treat. Jo did not know her son was going to make it. She'd asked Don to make sure somebody videotaped this because they wanted to have the videotape to send to Jo, because Jo wasn't going to be able to make it. And today, when Jo brought her family up to the building 500 to be let in, Dan brought Jo up through a different entrance, and Donna brought them up to the office, and I was in my office, and I've got a partition there that kind of hides my office from the hallway, and Jo was brought in, and Donna goes, "Major, Jo's here now," and Jo's expecting me to walk around the partition, and her son walked around. And she said, I wasn't going to cry, and I think she shed a few tears for us. So it was pretty exciting. We're really glad to have Jo here. Those got Jo's, this gets confusing, I'm saying Jo and two Jo's and all. Joseph, her son. We're very glad to have him here. We've got Jo's two sisters, Virginia and Juanita. Very happy to have you here. We've got Jo's brother, Jesse, and his wife, Irene, and then three nieces. Jo's three nieces, Marilyn, Judy, and Virginia. And we're happy you all could make it. We're very honored to have you here. Thank you. In one of these farewells, a retirement ceremony like this, it's traditional that you go into a little person's history. I'm not going to do that because I think General Weber, and most of you were able to make it, General Weber's went into that. For those of you who didn't make it, Jo's joined civil service in 1945, December 4th, 1945. That is I won't say a long time ago, but that was a while ago. And I'll let the General make all the long period jokes. I'll just press on here. But we're not quite sure, I guess it's 41 years and 9 months.
Right.
And as we read various plaques and things, we're going to hear different years, but nobody could quite figure it out. But there was a 3-year break in there and then some other time, so it actually, according to CPO, comes to, or CPO, Civilian Personnel Office, comes to 41 years and 9 months. But we've heard better than that. Those of you who were at the General's, at the retirement ceremony, General Weber read the letter from President Bush. And President Bush said it was 46 years, so we'll go with that. 1991 minus 45, 46 years. He's the boss. You aren't here to listen to me, so I'm going to shut up and go on with this. Force Control Programming Bench. Joe's section is the Worldwide Military Command and Control Systems Support Section. SCCC is a service organization. We've got a large number of customers, and that's what we do. Joe's been the section chief for that section, and so we're going to have some of her customers express some of their appreciation. Although first I've got one thing here which I'm going to read. This, of course, gets easy. I just have to read it. This is a letter of appreciation to Josephine Creel. On behalf of the Offutt Air Force Base Civilian Personnel Office, I take great pleasure in expressing to you, Josephine, our sincerest appreciation for the many years you have served on the Offutt Air Force Base Incentive Awards Committee. You have selflessly given your time and your talents to make sure the Incentive Awards program is working properly, which has benefited all employees at Offutt. You will sorely be missed on the committee and will not be easy to replace. We miss you all. We wish you all the best in your new occupation as retiree, although I've heard Jo mention that she's thinking about a part-time job. And thank you once again from all your friends at Civilian Personnel, signed P. Joseph Struckman, Chief, Labor and Employee Relations, Civilian Personnel. Now, on to like I say, we've got a lot of customers. Joe's section supported a wide variety of customers, and we've got some folks here today, and we've got some letters here today that are going to express that appreciation to Joe. First, I'm going to introduce Sergeant Marino. Sergeant Art Marino has been really important in setting this all up. He's got the first letter here.
November 1991. Dear Mrs. Creel, upon your retirement from federal civil service, I wish to take this opportunity to join you and your many friends and close associates in expressing our gratitude for your devotion to duty and for the significant service you have rendered your country. As you recall the events of over 42 years of service, you should derive deep satisfaction from your contributions to the United States Air Force and Department of Defense. Your dedication and professionalism were instrumental to the successful accomplishment of the mission of the Strategic Air Command. Your outstanding computer programming support of the base and MAGCOM level systems has been greatly appreciated. Our comptroller, finance, and budget management information systems have truly benefited from your experience. Individuals of your caliber and experience are difficult to replace, and I know your presence will be greatly missed. On behalf of the men and women of the SAC financial management and comptroller community, we wish you health, happiness, and success in your future endeavors. Sincerely, James S. Bonney, Colonel, U.S. Air Force, Deputy Chief of Staff, Financial Management, and Comptroller.
Dear Mrs. Creel, on the occasion of your retirement, I want to thank you for your outstanding computer programming support of the medical, administrative, management, and command dental service reporting systems. Whenever we encountered problems, your expertise always saved us many hours of non-productive downtime. Again, thanks for your support and good luck in your future endeavors. Sincerely, Michael J. Torma, Brigadier General, United States Air Force, Surgeon, Strategic Air Command. Major Webb.
I've been here for 3 years, and all the time that I've been here, I've gone to their office quite a bit, and I've probably been a thorn in their side, but I've kept them in business a lot. They charge outrageous rates every time I ask them to do anything, but they've always done it with a lot of enthusiasm, and I've always felt that they live TQM. And for those that don't know, it's total quality maintenance, and it's pleasing the customer is what it amounts to. And I think they've done an excellent job of that. And I have a letter from signed by General Roscosi, who's the Deputy Chief of Staff for Logistics, and I'll just read part of it here. On the occasion of your forthcoming retirement from civil service, I offer congratulations on the completion of a distinguished career spanning 42 years, and express the gratitude of logisticians throughout the United States Air Force and the Strategic Air Command for your many years of faithful service. During your career, you have made numerous contributions toward our country's defense efforts. Your outstanding support of numerous logistics information management systems over the last 17 years has made lasting contributions to the logistics effort. Your presence will be missed by the Strategic Air Command, the United States Air Force, and the countless people who have benefited from your devotion to duty. I wish you and your family health, happiness, and success in the years ahead. Sincerely, Thomas C. Brascosi, Brigadier General, USAF, Deputy Chief of Staff Logistics. And I don't have a fancy cover for it, so I give you the traditional logistics cover.
I'm from the Office of the Staff Judge Advocate. Mrs. Creel, I can say personally, having worked with you for 4.5 years, that I think you're the best that I've seen Air Force-wide. Our department, we boast about their office, about their programmers, about the support that Mrs. Creel has given to them. So much so that MAC and TAC and others have requested personally to present their services based on what we told them. And the results of that have come back as being truly successful. And I don't think that's going to end because they're looking at the programmers in your office for assistance right now, even as we speak. But I just want to say you've helped us through a lot of difficult times, and we've probably been a thorn in your side not being technically trained in that area, but I certainly appreciate your patience and the help that you've provided to not only our command, but our department as a whole, and that's the truth. I'd like to read a letter that I'm presenting to you on behalf of Brigadier General Jones and the entire staff. Dear Mrs. Creel, your pending retirement provides me an opportunity to express my most grateful appreciation to you for 42 years of faithful federal service. I am particularly thankful for your dedicated and outstanding computer support of the automated military justice analysis and management system since December of 1980. Thank you for a job well done. I wish you the best.
We will miss you, and that's true. Thank you very much.
Mike came down yesterday and asked if you should read these two letters. And I told him I wanted to do it because Joe's a very special person to me. And we go back the whole tour I'm here. I guess as a lot of you all have heard the history today that General Weber read off. That's quite a history. And as most of you are well aware, that as soon as she came to civil service, she knew the Cold War was starting up. And she decided to play a part in fighting that Cold War. And well, now it looks like we won the Cold War, and so she can retire to part-time duty. She was key to winning that. Well, I'll read the first letter here, and this one's from General Weber, who was at the presentation this morning. Dear Miss Creel, I wish to join your many friends and co-workers in expressing our gratitude for the admirable service you have rendered your country. As you recall the events of your almost 43 years of federal service, you should derive deep satisfaction from your contributions to the success of the Air Force and Strategic Air Command. When you began your long and distinguished career in 1945, a separate Air Force was still just an idea. You've seen the Air Force grow from a fledgling service with more theory than experience to a significant power that directly contributed to the end of the Cold War and earned a stunning victory in the Persian Gulf. You've been a part of that history and can take pride in your contributions that helped make the Air Force what it is today. Upon your retirement from federal service, I am certain that you are looking forward to new endeavors with great anticipation. Best wishes for many years of happiness. Sincerely, Lester J. Weber, Brigadier General, Deputy Chief of Staff, Communications Computer Systems, Strategic Air Command. And it doesn't end there. I got a call this morning, I think I told you earlier, from Mr. Rich Leardahl, who used to be her boss, and says he really wished he could be up here today, and thanks to your efforts in making the Standard Systems Center what it was over in Building 40, he probably owes his 14th day to that. So you played a key role in many people's lives, and he wishes you the best. The next one I'm going to read is from Colonel Cyphus, who definitely wanted to be here today. And of course, he got pulled away for something very important. But he did send a couple other good representatives. Elaine's here and her sidekick, Donna. And I'll read Colonel Cyphus's. Dear Miss Krill, with my sincerest admiration, I would like to say thank you for the outstanding work you've done for the Air Force and your nation. If we pulled together all the folks you've worked with over the past 46 years, we'd certainly fill both the SAC and Cape Heart theaters. Every one of those folks would join me in saying thank you. You will be missed. Your steadfast devotion and trustworthy, dedicated service have served as an example to many people you've instructed and served with over the years. Many young airmen and officers, as well as a few older bosses, have learned and benefited from your experience and knowledge. As you leave federal service, you should know your contributions have had a positive impact that will continue to be felt for many years. Upon your retirement, I extend my personal best wishes and those of the entire Strategic Communications Computer Center. Sincerely, Larry Cyphus, Colonel USAF, Commander. Now I would like to add a few comments from myself and the Strategic Operations Director. When I got here, one of the first jobs I was in was in charge of a little place called Access. And when I was in that job, the other directorate was with the standard systems, which Mr. Leardahl was in charge of at that time, and Ms. Krill was already well known at that time. She was one of the key building blocks of that shop, and a very important person in it. So I knew her from that time. And then I moved over to current operations over in Building 40, and I got to work next to the folks. And Mr. Rich Leardahl constantly was telling me about all the good work, and so Jo Krill I can't do without her. And then we came up to a big reorganization, and Colonel Vera said, I'm going to move the WMX programmers over to Building 500. And there was a lot of grief and fighting over that. A lot of people over at Building 40 did not want to move over to Building 500. But it really speaks well for Jo. She took that shop, she brought the shop over with her, kept morale high, kept production high, and made a first-class shop over in Building 500. A lot of people wouldn't have done that, but Jo did it. She's done a super job wherever she's gone. She's done a super job here. We're going to really miss her, and she's not going to have many of us to train left, I think, now. And best wishes from myself and everybody in the Strategic Operations Director. You'll surely be missed. Thanks, Jo.
Thank you.
That was, it's a hard act to follow with all the accolades that Jo has gotten from everybody. I was sitting and thinking this morning, and I wrote a couple of things down while I was doing that, and everybody said everything, so I'm not going to go into that. I've known Jo for over 20 years, I guess. And it's very hard to see an individual of his stature retire. I have a big speech, but the hell with it.
Jo, I'd like to take you to the next meeting I have with Ron.
As I said before, Joe's had one of my sections, the WMX support section. That section's made up of two teams, And we've now got presentations from each of those teams. We'll start with Staff Sergeant Shaw.
Here's a little something from conventional systems side over there. I just want to wish you the best. You know, you're losing a lot of expertise. I know from my experience, when I know you since '88, you're always there. If you had questions, you're more willing to help take your time. And it's from us.
Oh, thank you.
You'll have to come up and see all these things afterwards. This is very nice. It's got the Building 500 with the Minuteman missile sitting in front of it, engraved on the bottom of it. It's got a little computer disk at the top. Now her other section, Sergeant Marinelli.
Sergeant Guzman, Sergeant Espinosa, please. First, Mrs. Creel, let me read this concerning this flag that's inside of this token of appreciation. The flag of the United States of America, presented to Josephine Creel. This is to certify that the accompanying flag was flown over the Strategic Air Command Headquarters on 9 November 1991. Signed Lester J. Weber, Brigadier General, U.S. Air Force, Deputy Chief of Staff, Communications, Computer Systems. Mrs. Creel has been in MAGCOM programming support since October of '74. So she's been in that job for over 17 years. And she's always referred to us as her boys. And she's had a lot of boys come in and out in the last 17 years. And I, for one, feel better that I was able to work for Mrs. Creel. Please accept this flag. The flag is a symbol of respect and love, and carries the highest place of honor in America. We feel that you are the second highest place of honor. We have the most greatest respect for you, and we love you very much.
Thank you.
Now we've got a couple things left, but I'd like to open up the floor now. If there's anybody, if somebody has to leave, this is the point to do it, although you haven't got a chance to hear from Joe yet, but this may go on as people get up. But I would like to open the floor now at this point for anybody that has anything they would like to say to Joe.
Can I try my speech again?
Okay, well then we'll just keep going, press on here. Elaine. This is very special. This is Elaine and from Colonel Cyclist's office. And we had to, this is a very special award, and a lot of effort went into getting this award, but we had to find something significant about it. Governor Ben Nelson doesn't pass these out to everybody, and we had to find a native Nebraskan. So Elaine is representing the state of Nebraska for Governor Nelson.
You better believe. Not only that, but I want to say something. Joe, I think that you and I should take some of these young boys of yours and just really slap them right alongside the head. They make us think that we're old people. Really? I sort of resent that. I was at the retirement ceremony this morning, and this one over here was barely potty trained. I don't know if several of them were even born yet. I don't know if we should take that or not. I want you to know that I was a very young, good-looking Nebraskan. I was 12 years old, and I thought I knew everything. Almost a teenager. So I just want you all to just take that and keep that in mind. Joe and I are still very, very young. But we, as Major Kidd said, I am a native Nebraskan. I've known Jo for a long time. I've also had the pleasure of knowing her family for a long time. In fact, her brother Jesse and my husband grew up together. They went over to my mother-in-law's and made a lot of cake over there. And Virginia and I worked together, and we have been friends for a long time. So I will verify Jo comes from a very, very nice family. You have a very nice family. And as a native Nebraskan, I wanted to really keep what I think is very, very special, the best to the last, the creme de creme, so to speak. So Jo, I'm even going to ask you to stand for this very special honor. I don't know if you who are not native Nebraskans realize that not only do we have SAC headquarters here, which is very, very important, but we also have a military of our own. And please don't laugh at that. We have the great Navy of the state of Nebraska. And through the generosity of our very good governor, Governor Ben Nelson, he has appointed Mrs. Creel an admiral. So I would like to read the citation here. The Admiral, the great Navy of the state of Nebraska. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. Know ye that reposing special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities of Josephine Creel, and knowing you to be a good person and a loyal friend and counselor, I have nominated and do appoint you an admiral in the great Navy of the state of Nebraska. You are therefore called to diligently discharge the duties of admiral by doing and performing all manner of things thereto belonging. And I do strictly charge and require all officers, seamen, tadpoles, and goldfish under your command to be obedient to your orders as admiral. And you are to observe and follow from time to time such directions as you shall receive according to the rules and discipline of the great Navy of the state of Nebraska. This commission to continue in force during the period of your good behavior and the pleasure of the Chief Admiral of the great Navy of the state of Nebraska, given under my hand in the city of Lincoln, state of Nebraska, this 15th day of November, 1991, in the year of our Lord, and it's signed E. Benjamin Nelson, Governor. So Jo, Admiral, congratulations.
Now I guess I'm really in trouble because now I'm outranked by everybody on the table. But I'll have to argue here a little with Elaine. Maybe the creme de la creme isn't quite being Nebraskan, because there's one thing that we're going to say is higher, and that's being a member of F Troop.
Well,
I was getting some protest there, I think. Joe's been a member of F Troop, and I won't try and guess how many years that is because we seem to have problems trying to figure out exactly when people were where, but Joe's been a very important member of F Troop. Repeating what everybody else has said, we are going to really miss her. We've loved you, we've really respected you, we've just been unable to work without you. And tradition has it that we will present Joe with a scroll. Now, those of you who have been to F Troop farewells before, these are kind of unusual, so you'll have to bear with me. I'm sure Joe is quaking now, wondering what we said about her. These things sometimes, well, you can ask some of the former F Troop folks, can get pretty nasty, but we'll see what this one says. I usually don't get to read these before I see them at these ceremonies. They do that intentionally so that I don't tone them down. So here we go. To whom all these presents come greetings. Be it known that on the 15th day of November, 1991, Jo Creel, having survived sempiternal vicissitudes and enigmatic perplexities, while being inculcated with such aphorisms as foremost, top drawer, eager, talented, creative, preeminent, superior, conscientious, professional, meticulous systems analyst, superlative, dedicated, top-notch, inimitable, peerless, A1, first class, unapproached, champion, unsurpassed, worker, first rate, considerate, devoted, paramount, distinguished, Jim Dandy, without parallel, premier, unrivaled boss. The bottom line, one very fine person who is loved, respected, and will be missed, is hereby and herewith elected and installed to the esoteric and nebulous status of F Trooper First Class with bent saber, and with it the rights, privileges, and responsibility of the same, including life membership in F Troop, that august body founded by Captain F. Igmo Parameter and dedicated to combating marauding machines, dysenteric dumps, catastrophic coding, genocidal generators, masticated memory, transitory tapes, and assorted enemies of SACS. Joe Little, Michael S. Kidd, F Troop Commander, and then Captain F. Igmo Parameter, his mark. As everybody knows, is attending one of these F Troop farewells. F Troop is probably unique. It's the only branch, and of course at one time it was a division, that has its own flag. And on farewell departure, it's tradition that departing members of F Troop get a flag. We've done one a little special for you, Joe, because you're a special person. This is Joe's flag.
Now, we're not going to have any long speeches. Because for once I can say I'm sure glad you guys got to go back to work. And I can't possibly acknowledge everybody here that I know and have worked with. Outstanding people. But if you'll permit me just one name, Mr. Dwayne Phillips, or General Phillips retired, I'd like to thank you. You were the one that gave me my chance to move up to SAC. And for that, my family and I are eternally grateful. And for the rest of you, it has been wonderful working with you. I can't forget you, that's for sure. And I never want to. So if you hear of an opening, would you just call me? And I especially want to thank Colonel Stitt, Colonel Lowry, Colonel Curran, and Master Kidd. Oh, you said I didn't have to say Master. Just in the office. Major Kidd. And I also want to thank all of the people that helped put this together. I really appreciate it. Sergeant Merrill, Sergeant Estaniki, Sergeant Polson, Donnelly, and also Art Haight. Thank you for your wonderful support and time. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for coming. I'm sure you want to come up here and see some of the things that Joe got.
Should we arrange?
That's okay. Go ahead. Just turn around. Very good. That's fine.
That could give me the shot.
Yes, sir. I just want to get it off.
God bless you. Good luck on your
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry to say you down there waiting to film everybody downstairs.
Well, good luck. Is that letter from the president up there?
No.
I'm supposed to turn you around so we can get your pictures. And you're going to come back and see us anyway.
Oh, I will. I'm going to get black armbands tomorrow. It's been authorized by the general.
We're going to move you over here so we can get pictures of you there. How's that?
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you.
I didn't know she wanted your head in there.
These are my legs, so when you know, you look.
still filming. Now, you want to give me kissing Brian on the cheek? It's all my own job.
Just don't talk. You think the
There's a whole lot of stuff there for her I Love Me wall.
Go tell her family to come up here and talk.
What?
Her family, go get maybe some here.
Oh.
I'll make some of all the
Where's your carrying case after this? I didn't see it in the office anywhere. For your camera? No, for your... Oh.
I had to go and give her my last one there. Are you sure? I'll see you back.
kick him or something.
No.
I got 3 minutes. That main namesake with me.
Where's the dog? Where's the dog? No, you won't.
You know, something like I was just telling the Major, we argued many times, and we continue to argue. But I never argued the point of the computers with her, because she did no computers. Other than that, it's kind of a negative situation.
Uncle Jeff?
Yeah.
They want your picture. A shot of all the families. Everybody? My son. They're going to be here.
Don't go, brother.
Give us a call and we'll run a muster. I'll just put it back the truck.
Okay.
All right, you done, Dada?
No, we didn't get.
Yes.
That was the second show. We'll be ready. Comes out. Okay. This is so good.
Joe's at the bar.
Is that my smile, Jesse? Go ahead and